The knife was already in my chest. I just hadn't pulled it out yet. Lena said we needed to talk on a Wednesday. I remember because I just paid the quarterly rent that morning. $4,300 left in my account. I was boiling water for instant noodles when she walked in, and the pot overflowed, the foam hissing against the gas burner until the flame choked out. I turned off the stove. She stood in the kitchen doorway, wearing a dress I'd never seen before. Full makeup. Her lipstick was that orange-red shade women wear when they're trying to look like they didn't try. She'd been somewhere before coming home. Seen someone. The makeup wasn't for me. In 2 years of living together, she'd never worn that color. But what she came to say mattered more. Ryan, we need to break up. She paused, waiting for me to ask why. She was braced for it, the way you brace for a door to slam. I didn't ask. I already knew. The name had been lighting up her phone for months. A star emoji next to it. She'd send 3 messages, he'd send 1 back. Every time she saw that single reply, her eyes would crinkle at the corners, the exact same way they used to when she looked at me. I never went through her phone. You don't have to. When you sit across from someone at dinner, you can feel who they're thinking about. It's in the way they hold their fork, the way their gaze drifts to the window, the way they laugh at something on their screen, and then remember you're there, and the laugh dies a little. You're not going to ask me why, she said. No need. The noodles had gone cold. Mush. I dumped the pot in the sink and started washing it. She stood behind me for a long time. Then she said she was sorry. She moved out that night. 2 suitcases. 1 cardboard box full of books and picture frames. I carried the box downstairs for her and called an Uber. She rolled down the window as the car pulled away. Her eyes were wet. Her lips moved like she wanted to say something. She didn't. The car disappeared around the corner. I went back upstairs, wiped down the kitchen, drank the last half carton of her milk in the fridge, took a shower, went to sleep. I went to work the next day like nothing happened. Nobody at the office knew. I didn't see the point in telling anyone. Life is like that. You keep moving. You do what needs to be done. 2 weeks passed. I ran into Vivian at the convenience store downstairs from my office. Vivian was Lena's best friend. She looked at me with that expression people get when they want to say something but they're not sure if they should. I nodded at her and grabbed a bottle of water. Ryan. I stopped. You know who she's with now, right? I know. Vivian stared at me like I was some kind of alien specimen. You're not angry? At what? She dumped you for a guy who dumped her 3 times before. 3 times. And now he snaps his fingers and she comes running back. You don't feel even a little bit played? I thought about it. That's her business. Vivian laughed. Not because it was funny. You 2 were together for 2 years. I saw how you treated her. She used you as a backup plan. Maybe not a backup plan, I said. Maybe she never got over him. Maybe I was the safe choice. But you can't live your whole life on safe. She wanted to try something else. So she did. Nothing wrong with that. Vivian stared at me for a solid 5 seconds. You're insane, she said. Probably. I paid for my water and left. That night I sat on my couch in the dark. No TV. No lights. Just sitting. My phone buzzed. A message from Lena. She said she'd left some things behind and would come by to pick them up sometime. I said okay. A few minutes later, another message. You're really strange, Ryan. I didn't reply. Not because I was ignoring her. I genuinely didn't know what to say. Underscore 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 underscore. A month and a half after the breakup, the high school group chat started buzzing about a reunion. I wasn't planning to go, but Jason Joe messaged me privately. Long time no see, man. Come hang out. Jason was the kind of guy who organized everything in high school. Everyone liked him. You couldn't say no to him. I said fine. Saturday night. A private room at a high-end Chinese restaurant downtown. $100 a head, apparently. People signed up in the group chat. I added my name and saw hers already on the list. She'd added a +1. I didn't think much of it. Saturday afternoon I showered, threw on a clean black hoodie, jeans, sneakers. Looked in the mirror before heading out. Hair a little long. Not sloppy, just not trying. Good enough. When I got to the private room, a dozen people were already there. Everyone doing the 6-year scan. Who got fat. Who lost their hair. Who went into finance. Who started a company. The conversations cycled through jobs, apartments, weddings, babies. The usual. Jason stood up when he saw me and clapped my shoulder. Ryan, you haven't changed at all. I smiled, sat down, poured myself some tea. Then the door opened and everyone turned. She walked in wearing a camel coat over a black dress. Her hair was curled in big waves. She looked thinner than before. Beside her stood a guy. 5'10" maybe. Dark gray blazer. Expensive watch. The kind of face that tells you he goes to the gym 5 times a week and has a skincare routine. When he smiled, his teeth were perfect and white. He radiated the energy of someone who knows he's doing well and wants you to know too. Cole Archer. The guy with the star emoji. Someone at the table recognized him. Isn't that the senior from the year above us? Whispered explanations circulated. VP at some investment firm now. Salaries apparently. A meaningful hand gesture. Cole had his hand on the small of Lena's back. He greeted everyone like he was doing them a favor just by showing up. Natural. Relaxed. A guy who'd worked 1,000 rooms just like this one. Jason said something about it being an honor.
Please sit.
They sat diagonally across from me, 3 people between us. Lena's eyes swept past me as she sat down. They paused for 1 second, then moved on. I didn't look at her. I ate the cold appetizers. The dinner was loud. Someone brought bottles of Baijiu and started making toasts. Cole was good at this. Within 15 minutes, he'd added half the table on WeChat. He talked about market trends and venture capital and dropped a few well-timed jokes that made everyone laugh. Someone asked how he and Lena got together. He glanced at her and smiled. We've known each other for years. Went in circles and ended up right where we were supposed to. Lena looked down and smiled. I knew that smile. She used to smile like that when she was happy with me. The corners of her mouth barely moved, but there was light behind her eyes. I kept eating. Jason leaned over after a few drinks.
Ryan.
You and Lena broke up? Yeah. When? A while ago. He looked at Cole, then back at me. Opened his mouth. Closed it. Patched my shoulder and said he'd buy my drinks tonight. I said okay. Halfway through dinner, someone suggested truth or dare. People groaned about it being childish, but enough were drunk enough to go along. A bottle spun on the lazy Susan. Whoever it pointed to had to answer. The questions started tame. Ever fail a class in college? Ever fall asleep at your desk? Then the drinks kept flowing, and the questions got sharper. The bottle landed on me. Megan Wong asked the question. She'd sat in front of me in homeroom. Now she worked HR at some state-owned company. Loud personality, louder after a few drinks.
She squinted at me.
Ryan, you seeing anyone right now?
No. So?
You still hung up on your ex? The table went quiet. Someone coughed. Someone else glanced at Lena. I said, let's skip this one.
No skipping, Megan said.
That's the rule. Answer or take 3 shots. I looked at the shot glasses in front of me. Picked one up.
Drank.
Picked up the second.
Drank.
The third burned going down. My eyes watered. Megan shrugged.
Fine.
You get a pass. The bottle spun again and landed on Cole. Jason asked the question this time, probably trying to steer things somewhere safe. What's your most successful investment? Cole smiled. Not really success. Just luck. 2 years ago, I put money into a consumer brand. Exited last year. About 7 times return. Someone at the table inhaled sharply. 7x. Most people in that room didn't have a clear sense of what that meant, but numbers are numbers. Big enough, and they impress on their own. Someone called him out for humble bragging. Cole waved it off. Really, just luck. He turned to look at Lena. Honestly, the luckiest thing that ever happened to me wasn't that deal. Lena's face went red. She picked up her wine glass. The room buzzed with the energy of a moment well played. The bottle spun a few more times. Nobody asked me anything else. I ate my food quietly, traded a few words with old classmates who got married, who had kids, who quit their job, who started a business and failed.
Reunions are like that.
6 years is long enough to change everything and short enough that everyone still measures themselves against everyone else. Everyone pretending they don't care. Everyone carrying a scale inside their head. Around 9, someone suggested round 2.
Karaoke.
Most people were in. A few begged off, said they had kids to get home to. I was about to leave too, but Jason grabbed my arm.
Ryan.
You have to come tonight. No question.
Why?
You didn't see the group chat? What about it? He leaned in close. His voice dropped. This afternoon. Someone forwarded something. Just look. I pulled out my phone. Opened the chat. Scrolled up. Then I saw it. My mother had forwarded a link. The headline read, Victoria Chen, daughter of Chen Group, engagement banquet held today. Photos attached. A woman in a red dress. A man in a suit. Crystal chandeliers. Champagne tower. Victoria was my sister. My actual sister. But that wasn't the problem. The problem was that after the link got shared, someone recognized Victoria. Then someone looked up the Chun group. Then someone typed, wait, Ryan's last name is Chun, isn't it? Is he one of those Chens? The chat exploded after that. Messages I hadn't seen poured in. Ryan's been hiding this whole time. No wonder he never talks about his family. His dad is Richard Chen? The Richard Chen? He dated Lena for 2 years and lived in that crappy old apartment? What was he doing slumming it? I stared at my screen. Then I locked it. Jason watched my face carefully. You didn't know your sister was getting engaged today? I knew. I didn't. I'd had a fight with my sister a month ago, and we hadn't spoken since. You should have said something in the group, he said. Look at the vibe now. What's there to say? He opened his mouth, closed it, swallowed whatever he was about to say. People were gathering their things, heading for the elevator. I looked up and found Lena standing a few feet away, staring at me. Her expression was complicated. Not anger, not sadness. More like disorientation. Like she'd been walking down a familiar street and suddenly realized none of the buildings were where she remembered them. She must have seen the chat the same time I did. The difference was what it meant to her. She'd been with me for 2 years, met my mother, visited my apartment, and I'd never once told her what my family actually did. Not because I was hiding it, because it didn't feel relevant. I hadn't taken a dime from my family since college. Tuition was loans I was still paying off. Living expenses were mine to figure out. My father and I barely spoke. My sister and I fought constantly. Their world and mine had nothing to do with each other. I never told Lena any of this. Not because I was keeping secrets, because I didn't know where to start. Someone called Lena's name from the hallway. The elevator was here. She snapped out of it, turned, walked away. After 2 steps she stopped and looked back at me. I didn't move. Jason dragged me into the elevator, muttering the whole way. You should have said something, man. Now everyone's uncomfortable. Nobody asked. Who's going to ask something like that directly? Your family runs a massive corporation. You're the heir. You live in a dump. People think you're. I'm not the heir. And I live where I can afford to live. Jason gave me a look that said, keep pretending. I didn't bother explaining. The karaoke place was 10 minutes away. Jason booked a big room and ordered beer and snacks. The energy shifted once we got inside. Smaller space. Dimmer lights. People pressed together on couches. The distance between everyone shrank. Someone started singing. Someone else shook dice for drinking games. Conversations splintered into corners. I sat at the far end of the couch, holding a beer I wasn't really drinking. My phone buzzed. My mother. Did you see the photos? Your sister wants to know why you didn't come. I didn't respond. Another buzz. My sister this time. You missed the engagement banquet. Mom is furious. Call her. I turned my phone face down on the couch. Songs came and went. Megan grabbed the mic and butchered a ballad, off-key and fully committed, and everyone laughed. When she finished, she pointed at me and shouted for me to sing. I can't sing. Bullshit. You were always listening to music in high school. Listening and singing are different things. She shoved the mic into my hands anyway. I scrolled through the song list and picked something at random. Sang half of it. My pitch was okay. Nothing special. People clapped. Someone called for an encore. I put the mic down. When I sat back down, there was someone next to me who hadn't been there before. Lena had moved to my left. The lights were too dim to read her expression clearly. All I could see was her profile, the tight line of her jaw.
She didn't look at me.
Her eyes stayed on the screen in front of us.
Ryan.
You never told me about your family. You never ask. You think that's something I should have to ask? 2 years together, and you don't mention what your parents do? Does that seem normal to you? I thought about it. I didn't think it was a big deal. She turned to face me. Her eyes were red at the rims. Do you know how I felt when I saw that link tonight?
Everyone was talking about it.
Everyone. And I was the only person in the room who didn't know. I met your mother. She never said a word. Did your whole family just agree to keep me in the dark? It wasn't like that. My family and I don't get along. I don't like talking about them. She was quiet for a moment. Then her voice dropped. You could have told me that much. Now, everyone thinks I broke up with you because I didn't know you had money. I didn't respond.
She stared at me.
Tell me the truth. Did you do this on purpose? Were you waiting for this exact moment? Waiting for me to find out and regret everything? No. Then why didn't you say anything? Because it honestly doesn't matter to me. That money isn't mine. It's my father's. I haven't taken a cent from my family since I graduated college. I live in a rented room. I eat instant noodles. I take the subway. That's my real life. What you all saw in that link has nothing to do with me. She held my gaze for a long time. Her lips pressed into a thin line. But you still have his last name.
I didn't know what she meant by that.
Maybe she was saying that no matter how much I distance myself, the world would always see me as Richard Chen's son. Maybe she was saying something else. I didn't ask, because the door to the karaoke room slammed open. Vivian stood in the doorway, phone in hand, laughing loudly. Ryan, there you are. I've been looking everywhere for you. She'd been drinking. Her face was flushed. She walked straight up to me and shoved her phone in my face. The screen showed a photo from my sister's engagement banquet. Victoria on her fiancé's arm. My mother beside them. And next to my mother, a middle-aged man in a navy suit. Not my father. Someone I didn't recognize. Vivian's voice carried across the entire room. Your sister married into the Archer family? The Archers? And you're out here pretending to be broke, drinking cheap beer with us? The room went dead quiet. Every single person was looking at me. I stood up, grabbed my jacket from the couch. I have to go. Vivian grabbed my sleeve. Don't leave yet. Tell me more. What's your position in the family? Are you like the black sheep? Or are you secretly loaded and just messing with everyone? I pulled my sleeve free. It wasn't gentle. Vivian blinked. Then she smiled. Her eyes moved past me, landing somewhere behind my shoulder. Unlike some people, she said, who thought they were trading up. But it turns out the backup was the jackpot all along. She was talking to Lena. I didn't turn around to see Lena's face, but I heard a chair scrape hard against the floor behind me. Then Lena's voice, not loud, but steady. Vivian, that's enough. I didn't say anything. Why are you so defensive? I didn't hear any more. I pushed through the door into the hallway. Long corridor. Other rooms. Someone singing a drinking song. Someone else shouting into a mic. The bass from different speakers blended together until the floor vibrated. At the front desk, a server stopped me. Sir, your jacket zipper's open. I looked down.
It was.
I tried to zip it.
Failed.
Tried again. Failed again. I stood there for a moment. Then I walked outside and lit a cigarette. November. The wind came tearing down the street and stung my eyes. I was wearing a thin hoodie, standing on the steps outside the karaoke bar. Finished one cigarette. Lit another. My phone buzzed. Lena, do you think this is funny? I stared at the message for a long time. Tried to think of a response.
Couldn't.
Put the phone in my pocket.
Flaggete taxi.
Gave the driver an address. Not the address of my rented room. The address of a house in the West Side wealthy district. The one on my ID. The one I hadn't been back to in 2 years. The driver glanced at me in the rearview mirror. A kid in a hoodie and jeans heading to that neighborhood at this hour. Probably wondered what the story was.
But he didn't ask.
40 minutes. The roads got wider. The buildings got shorter. The trees got taller. We stopped at a gated community. The security guard recognized me and opened the gate. I walked in. Streetlights bright. Shrubbery trimmed into perfect rectangles. Building B3. I swiped my access card. Took the elevator up. Rang the doorbell. My mother opened the door. She was wearing loungewear. Her face still carried the residual glow of a successful event. She smiled when she saw me, then frowned. What are you wearing? Your sister's engagement banquet, and you couldn't even put on a proper suit. I came to get a few things. She stepped aside. The living room was massive, all the lights still on. Plates of fruit and pastries on the coffee table, half finished. The air smelled like perfume and cigarette smoke. A lot of people had been here today. My mother followed me in. Have you eaten? There are dumplings in the kitchen. Your father made them. Not hungry. Your sister asked about you 3 times today. Why didn't you come? I didn't want to. She sighed. Ryan, can you please stop being so stubborn? Your father's getting older. The company will be yours eventually. You could at least learn a few things from your brother-in-law about management. I went upstairs. My old room. My mother had tidied it. New sheets. A vase of flowers on the desk. I pulled open a drawer, looking for my ID and some documents I needed for a property matter. My mother stood in the doorway, watching my back. Are you staying tonight?
No.
When will you come back? I don't know. She was silent for a moment. You're exactly like your father. Stubborn to the bone. I put the documents in my bag and headed back downstairs. As I passed through the living room, I saw someone standing on the balcony. My father, his back to the room, smoking. He heard my footsteps but didn't turn around. I reached the front door and started putting on my shoes. His voice came from the balcony. Not loud, but the living room was quiet, and every word carried. Since you're here, tomorrow, go meet the Archer family. I'm not going. Your sister's lifelong commitment. Her brother doesn't show his face. What kind of message does that send? I didn't come back for you. Or for her. He turned around. Across the entire living room, his expression was hard to read. But his voice dropped. Then why did you come back? To get something. He didn't say anything else. My mother came out of the kitchen with a bowl of dumplings. She pressed it into my hands. At least eat 2. Don't go hungry this late. I stood in the entryway and ate 2. Pork and cabbage. They were good. I put the bowl on the shoe cabinet. Opened the door. Left. Downstairs. The elevator reached the ground floor. The doors opened.
My sister was standing there.
She was in red. Full makeup. But there were faint shadows under her eyes, like she'd been going non-stop all day. She blinked when she saw me, then smiled. So you do know how to come home. Came to pick up a few things. She stepped into the elevator and held the door open. Your phone's been off. Mom said it was dead. Ran out of battery. Where are you going now? Home. Which home? I didn't answer. She looked at me for a few seconds. There was something in her eyes I couldn't name. Then she let go of the door. Get home safe. The doors closed. I walked out the front gate. The security guard nodded. Mr. Chen. Long time. I nodded back and stood at the curb, waiting for a taxi. My phone started buzzing. Multiple messages coming in at once. I pulled it out. First message from Jason. Ryan, after you left, Lena broke down crying. She's still sitting outside the karaoke place. Won't let anyone take her home. Second from Megan. Vivian's got a big mouth, but Lena's genuinely messed up. When I left, she was just standing on the sidewalk. I asked her what was wrong, and she just said she was waiting for you. Third message. From a number I used to have saved. Lena's other number. Can you please come? A taxi pulled up. I got in. Where to? I gave the driver the address of my old apartment building. Across the city. 40 minutes with light nighttime traffic. The streetlights slid past the window, one after another. My phone buzzed again. A voice message from Vivian. I didn't play it. I used speech to text. The transcription came through choppy, but the meaning was clear. Lena didn't leave with Cole. Cole called his own ride and left without her. Lena's been sitting outside the karaoke place for over an hour. Nobody knows where she is now. The taxi pulled up to my building just before 1 in the morning. Old complex. Half the street lights were broken. The courtyard was dark. I walked toward building 3. At the entrance, I stopped. Someone was sitting on the steps. Camel coat. Black dress. Hair coming undone. Strands falling across her face. She was hugging her knees. Cigarette butts on the ground in front of her. She didn't smoke. Someone else must have left them. She heard my footsteps and looked up. The light was dim, but I could see her face clearly. Mascara streaked. Lipstick smeared. Dried tear tracks catching the weak glow of the streetlight. Her voice came out raw. Almost gone. You finally came back. I stood on the sidewalk, looking up at her. Your phone was off. I didn't know which floor you're on. The door was locked. So I waited here. You knew where I live. I knew. Then why didn't you come up? I was afraid you wouldn't want to see me. She stood up. Her coat was covered in dust from the steps. She didn't brush it off. She was standing one step above me now, looking down. Her lips trembled. Then tears started falling. No sound. Just dropping, one after another. Ryan. Her voice cracked. Did you plan this? Have you been waiting for this day the whole time?
No.
Then why didn't you ever tell me? Your family, your sister, everything. 2 years together. I took care of you when you were sick. I stayed up waiting when you worked late. I hosted your mother when she visited. When you switched jobs and couldn't pay rent, I covered you for 2 months. Do you remember that? I remember. Then what did you think I was with you for? I didn't answer. Do you think I wanted something from you? When we were together, you couldn't even afford a decent meal. My birthday, you gave me a scarf that was $99 online. Did I ever complain?
No.
Then why did you do this to me? Why didn't you fight when I ended things? Why didn't you tell me anything? You could have told me. You could have. Do you think I wasn't worth telling? That's not it. Then what? I thought about it. I didn't think that hard about it. She stared at me. Then she laughed. Not a happy laugh. The kind that gets stuck in your throat and comes out wrong.
Ryan.
You are so strange. She turned and walked away. After a few steps she stopped. Didn't turn around. Her voice came out small. If I'd known you were this kind of person, I wouldn't have been with you. I didn't ask what she meant. She stood there for maybe 15 seconds. Then she kept walking. Her heels clicked on the concrete. Sharp. Steady. Getting farther away. I stood at the entrance and watched her disappear through the front gate. The streetlights stretched her shadow long. Then she turned a corner and was gone. I went upstairs. Unlocked the door. Changed my shoes. Took a shower. Got in bed. My phone had one new message. Vivian. Ryan, let me tell you the truth. Lena and Cole weren't together tonight. Cole brought some other girl. He asked Lena to come as a decoy. She thought Cole was serious about her. He was playing her. After she broke up with you, she found out Cole was talking to 3 other women at the same time. The only reason she came to the reunion tonight was you. She wanted to see if you were okay. And then she saw the way you were and she just broke. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed 3 words. I know now. Vivian replied instantly. That's all you have to say? I thought for a while.
Type something.
Deleted it. Typed again. Deleted again. Finally, I sent 2 words. Good night. I turned off my phone. Outside the window, a cat yowled once. Then silence. The whole building was asleep. Chapter 2. The Things We Don't Say. I didn't really sleep that night. Lying in bed, turning it over and over. The image of her on those steps. Her face in the dim light. The sound of her voice when it broke. The curtains weren't fully closed. A sliver of streetlight cut through, hit the mirror on my closet, bounced to the ceiling. A small, blurry patch of light. I stared at it for what felt like hours. Then I got up and poured a glass of water.
Cold.
Left over from the kettle, probably boiled yesterday morning. It tasted like rust. Old pipes in this building. The water was always bad. The property manager kept saying they'd fix it. They never did. I stood in the kitchen in the dark. Other windows visible through mine. Some lit, some dark. Half and half. At 3 a.m, the lights still on belonged to insomniacs, people working late, or people waiting for someone to come home. I wondered if Lena had made it home. I didn't know where she was living since she moved out. Probably back with her parents. Or maybe she got her own place. She talked about wanting her own space once. Said living with family made her feel suffocated. I told her we should look for an apartment together.
She said okay.
Then it never happened. By then she was already texting Cole more and more. I'd noticed. I just didn't say anything. Some people see the crack in the wall and choose to look away. Because admitting the crack is their means admitting you have to deal with it. Avoidance is shameful but useful. That saying got popular for a reason. I finished the water and went back to bed. Checked my phone. 3:42 a.m. No new messages.
Locked it.
Rolled over. Slept. I woke up past 10. Sunlight blasting through the gap in the curtains. My head hurt. The alcohol from last night, plus barely sleeping. Fumbled for my phone. One unread message. Lena. Sent at 6:11 a.m.
I'm sorry.
I shouldn't have come to your place last night. I thought about it for a minute. Replied. It's fine. Brushed my teeth. Washed my face. Changed clothes, and went out. The breakfast place downstairs was still serving. I ordered soy milk and fried dough sticks and sat at one of the little outdoor tables. The owner knew me. Haven't seen your girlfriend in a while. Trouble? We broke up. Her hands paused. She sighed. Young people. Being together isn't easy. Whatever it is, talk it out. I didn't respond. Just drank my soy milk. After breakfast, I went to the bank. Paid the next quarter's rent. Transferred $3,000 to my mother's account. I'd been sending her money every month for 3 years. Never missed. Even when things were tight. My mother always told me to stop, said I should keep it for myself. But I knew when she mentioned it to other people, she'd say my son sends me money every month, and there'd be something in her voice she couldn't hide. When I walked out of the bank, my phone rang. My sister. Ryan, you free this afternoon? Come to the house. Dad wants to talk about your situation. What situation? You'll find out when you get here. I'm not coming unless you tell me what it's about. Silence on the line. Then, Dad wants you to join the company. No. Ryan, can you please not do this every single time? You're 26. Look at your classmates. They all have proper jobs. You make pocket change and can't even afford a decent apartment. What exactly are you being stubborn about? I'm doing what I like. What you like? That joke of a media company? Writing copy for other people? You even clearing $2,000 a month? Not quite. She let out a long breath. She'd probably pulled the phone away from her face and was saying something to our mother. Then she came back. 3 o'clock. If you don't show up, deal with the consequences yourself. She hung up. I stood outside the bank. The sun was good. November sun is never harsh. Just warm. People passed on the sidewalk. Someone pulling a grocery cart. Someone holding a kid's hand. Someone in a suit, walking fast. Normal lives. I wanted a normal life too. But normal meant different things to different people. To my father, normal meant coming home to inherit the business, marrying the right kind of woman, having 2 kids, attending social functions on holidays, saying the right things in the right rooms.
To me, normal was this.
Living alone in a rented room. Soy milk and fried dough for breakfast. Sleeping in on weekends. Having enough in the bank to cover the next rent payment. The gap was too wide. There was no bridging it.
I went anyway.
Not because of deal with the consequences. Because some things you can't dodge forever. Better to get it over with. I arrived just before 3. The security guard at the gate didn't recognize me this time.
New guy.
I signed in and walked through. In front of building B3 was a black Mercedes I hadn't seen before. Out-of-state plates. Elevator up. Doorbell. My mother opened the door. Behind her stood a woman I didn't know. Early 30s. Gray skirt suit. Hair pinned up neatly. Heels on the entryway rug. She looked like she'd walked out of a magazine. Ryan's back. My mother stepped aside. Then to the woman. This is my son, Ryan. The woman smiled and gave a small nod. Hello. I'm Susan Wan. My father was on the living room sofa. My sister and brother-in-law beside him. The coffee table was covered with tea and documents. It felt less like a family gathering and more like a business meeting. I changed my shoes at the door. Sit, my father said. I took the side armchair. Susan sat across from me. She smiled again. Very professional, but not off-putting. Her calibration was perfect. My father got straight to it.
Ryan.
Susan is a consultant for the Archer family. She's here to discuss the possibility of you and the Archer's younger daughter. What about it? The younger daughter. Chloe Archer. The idea is that if the two of you hit it off, it would greatly benefit both families. Your sister married the eldest son. You and the younger daughter. It connects everything. I looked at my father, then at Susan, then at my sister. My sister avoided my eyes and picked up her teacup. You brought me here to talk about this? Just hear what Susan has to say first. Susan pulled a tablet from her bag, opened a document.
Her voice was steady.
Ryan, let me give you some context. Chloe Archer, 24 years old. London School of Economics graduate. Currently handling brand management in the family business. She's open to meeting you. She's seen your photo and background and is willing to explore the possibility. Of course, the final decision is yours. There's no pressure. She turned the tablet around. On the screen was a photo. A girl sitting in a cafe, caught in profile. White blouse. Long hair over her shoulders.
Clean-featured.
Not strikingly beautiful, but pleasant. Easy to look at. I looked for 2 seconds. Then looked away. I'm not interested. My father's voice dropped. You won't even meet her before refusing? I don't need matchmaking to solve my problems. This isn't matchmaking. Susan cut in smoothly. This is a social introduction. You two can chat on WeChat first. If things click, meet up. If not, you've made a new friend. No pressure at all. My sister couldn't hold back. Ryan, stop being an idiot. Chloe's a catch. Guys are lining up for her. If she's willing to give you a chance, that's your good fortune. Then let one of those other guys enjoy it. My brother-in-law had been quiet the whole time. Now he cleared his throat gently and gave my sister a look. Stop. Franklin Archer was 8 years older than my sister.
Calm.
Measured. Eldest son of the Archer family, running the real estate division. I hadn't interacted with him much, but I could tell he wasn't the flashy type. Few words. Good boundaries. My father set his teacup down hard on the table. It made a dull thud.
Ryan.
Let me be blunt. The company's situation right now requires the Archers' resources. Your sister's marriage is one connection. It's not enough. If you and Chloe end up together, the two families are genuinely tied. This isn't about me alone. This is about the entire Chin family. So, I'm a bargaining chip? Don't make it sound so ugly, my mother said, coming out of the kitchen with a plate of fruit. What's the harm in meeting a nice girl? You won't even look at her.
What do you want?
That Lena girl? What's so special about her? Do you even know her family situation? Her father's a factory worker. Her mother doesn't have a job. What kind of support can a family like that give you? I stared at my mother. You investigated her? My mother realized she'd said too much. Her expression flickered. She recovered quickly and softened her tone. Not investigate. Just understand. You were with her for 2 years. It's normal for parents to want to know about her background. My sister added. Dad had someone look into it. It wasn't us being nosy. You never told us anything, so we had to find out ourselves. And what's the big deal? You were talking about marriage. Of course we'd check her family situation. My father leaned back against the sofa. His face didn't change. Like the whole thing wasn't worth discussing. What else did you dig into? I asked. Nothing else, my mother said quickly. Look, never mind all that. Susan is still here. Just add the girl on WeChat. Susan tactfully put her tablet away and stood. Why don't we do this? Ryan can take some time to think about it. I'm available whenever. No rush. No need to think, my father said. Next Saturday. Both families will have dinner together. I'm not going. Silence. 3 full seconds of it. My father stood up. He wasn't tall, but he had presence. The kind of pressure that comes from decades of giving orders and having them followed. Not something he turned on deliberately. Just a habit ground in over years.
Ryan.
You think you've grown wings. You think you're independent now. Who paid for the place you live in? Who covered your living expenses in college? Who helped you get that job? I rented my own apartment. I worked through college. I interviewed for my job on my own. What does any of that have to do with you? Who paid your first year's tuition? You did. And I took out loans for the next 3 years. I've paid back 2. 1 more to go.
My father stared at me.
Anger in his eyes, but underneath it, something heavier. Disappointment. The how did I produce this son kind. The standoff lasted maybe 15 seconds. Then my brother-in-law spoke.
Dad.
Why don't we eat first? This can wait. He stood and positioned himself between me and my father. A smooth, almost invisible intervention. My mother seized the opening and tugged me toward the dining room. The food's ready. Let's eat. Just eat. I didn't eat. I put my shoes on and left. Behind me, my mother called my name. Her voice was wet. I didn't stop. Elevator. Ground floor.
Out.
At the curb, I pulled out a cigarette and lit it.
My phone rang. Vivian.
Ryan. Did Lena come to your place last night?
Yeah.
What time did she leave? Around 1. She got home and called me crying for 2 hours. You know that.
I didn't say anything. Vivian sighed.
Her voice got serious. Ryan, I'm going to ask you something.
Be honest with me.
Did you ever actually like her? I did. Then how can you be so calm about all of this? She breaks up with you, and you say okay. She comes to find you, and you don't try to get her back. She's crying her eyes out, and you can't even say one soft word to her. Are you even human? I didn't know how to answer. Not because I didn't have an answer. Because the answer wasn't something she'd understand. Lena and I were together for 2 years. I treated her well. When she was sick, I took time off to care for her. When she wanted to eat something specific, I went out at midnight to find it. When she worked late, I went to pick her up. I did all of that. But some things can't be solved by treating someone well. When a crack appears, it's there. You can't unsee it. Cole was just the trigger, not the root cause. The root cause was that Lena and I always had this subtle distance between us. I couldn't explain it exactly. It was like we were roommates sharing an apartment, each in our own room. The common spaces were shared. On the surface, we got along fine. But behind closed doors, we lived in separate worlds. She never asked about my family. I never volunteered. In 2 years, she met my mother 3 times. Each time, polite and brief. My mother would ask about her family. Lena would give short answers. That was it. At the time, I didn't think anything was wrong with this. Looking back now, maybe that wasn't normal. But whose fault was it? I couldn't say. Maybe nobody was at fault. Maybe we just weren't right for each other. I compressed all of this into one sentence. It's not calm. It's not knowing what to say. Vivian said, "You're a coward." I said, "Maybe." I hung up, finished my cigarette, lit another. The next week passed quickly. Nothing special happened.
Work.
Overtime. Home. The company landed a new client, a restaurant chain that needed social media management. I was on copywriting duty. Stared at a screen all day, revising the same tagline over and over. The client changed their mind 3 times a day. The people on the other side always talked more than they did. Wednesday night, I stayed late. My coworker Leo invited me out for barbecue afterward. 4 of us crammed around a plastic table on the sidewalk. Grilled skewers and cheap beer. Complaining about clients. Leo took a swig and looked at me. Ryan, you secretly loaded or something. What? Then why don't you drive? I've never seen you in a car. I don't have a car. He laughed. Sure you don't. I frowned. What do you mean? During that meeting last month, you took a call. I heard you say something like, I don't want that car.
So you do have one, right?
I remembered. My mother had called to say my father bought me an Audi, and I should go to the dealership. I told her I didn't want it. She said it was already purchased. I told her to drive it herself. She said I didn't need a new car, I could just keep driving the old one. I said the old one wasn't even mine. It was my sister's hand-me-down. My mother said, what difference does it make? In short, a mess of things I didn't want to explain. I told Leo it was a family car, not mine. He saw my expression and dropped it. Halfway through the meal, my phone buzzed. Lena. Ryan. You free this weekend? I left something at your place. Can I come get it? What is it? A blue storage box. Some documents inside. I knew the box. Top shelf of the closet. She must have missed it when she moved out. Saturday morning works. Okay.
Saturday.
A little past 9.
The doorbell rang.
I opened the door. Lena stood there in a cream-colored sweater, jeans, canvas sneakers. Hair in a ponytail. Not much makeup. She looked plainer than she had at the reunion. She was holding a paper bag. I brought you breakfast. Soy milk and rice balls. From that place you like. Thanks. I took the bag. She didn't move. Her eyes drifted past me into the apartment. I knew that look. She used to have it every time she came back from a trip. Scanning the space. Making sure everything was still there. You're still here. Everything's the same. Come in. She changed her shoes and stepped inside. The studio was small. 20 square meters. Bed, couch, desk, all visible in one glance. Her eyes swept the room and landed on a book on the coffee table. 100 Years of Solitude. Hers. She'd kept it on the nightstand when she lived here. Must have left it behind. I'd flipped through a few pages. The bookmark was still where she'd left it. She picked up the book. Opened it to the bookmark. Her finger paused on the page. Then she closed it and put it in her bag. The box is on top of the closet. I stood on a chair and pulled it down. Handed it to her. She opened it, checked the contents. Receipts. Contracts. A small envelope. She took out the envelope. Inside, 2 movie ticket stubs. La La Land. Over a year ago. She stared at the stubs for a few seconds. Put them back. Zipped the box shut. You kept this. I forgot to throw it out. She didn't say anything. Just stood in the middle of the room holding the box. Like she had more to say, but couldn't find the words. After a moment, I said the soy milk was getting cold and went to heat it up. The kitchen was tiny. Barely room to turn around. Pots and pans jammed together. A shelf in the corner with spices and instant noodles. Lena followed me to the doorway and stood there, watching. This was a familiar scene. Her leaning against the doorframe while I cooked. Sometimes she'd hand me an ingredient. Sometimes she'd wrap her arms around me from behind. Sometimes she'd complain that I worked too late again. At the time, those moments felt ordinary. Nothing special. Now, I understood how precious they were. I just hadn't known it then. How have you been? She asked. Okay. I heard you're being set up. For a matchmaking thing. I turned off the stove and faced her. Her expression was calm, but there was a thin layer of moisture in her eyes. Almost invisible, unless you looked closely. Who told you? Vivian. She heard from Jason. He heard from someone in your class. Your family's arranging something with some rich girl. Archer family, right? It's not my arrangement. Are you going to go? I don't know yet. She looked down. Her fingers fidgeted with the handle of the storage box. Silence stretched between us. Then her voice came out small. Ryan, I want to tell you something. I poured the soy milk into a cup and handed it to her. She took it. Her hand was shaking. The milk sloshed, almost spilling. Cole and I aren't together. I know. At the reunion. He brought someone else. I was just there for show. I found out afterward. He never intended to be with me. He was just. She paused, searching for the right word. checking if I was still available, if I'd still come when he called. She took a small sip of soy milk, raised her head. Her eyes met mine directly. When I broke up with you, I thought I had feelings for him. But after we were apart, I realized it wasn't that. It was ego. When he ignored me, I felt awful. When he gave me a little attention, I was elated. That's not love. That's a sickness. It's not a sickness, I said. It's human psychology. What about you? She held my gaze. Is that what I was to you? Just ego?
No.
Then what? I don't know how to explain. Try. I want the truth. I leaned against the counter. The kitchen faucet hadn't been shut tight. Water dripped into the sink.
Slow. Steady.
The sound filled the silence. Lena, in 2 years together, did you ever once ask me what my father does? She froze. You met my mother 3 times. She asked about your family, and you answered. But you never asked why she didn't try to get to know you better. Not once. Her mouth opened. Nothing came out. You know what I like to eat. You know when I get off work. You know my shoe size. You know I hate the cold. But do you know what goes on in my head? Do you know why I never took you to meet my family? Her eyes were reddening. It's not that I didn't want to. It's that I didn't know how. If you came to my family's house and saw that place and those people, what would you have thought? You would have thought I'd been lying to you the whole time. Because when you met me, I could barely pay rent. And my family lives in a mansion with a Mercedes in the driveway. How would you have looked at me? I wouldn't have thought that, she said quietly. You would have. You already did. At the karaoke place. You said you still have his last name. That's what you meant. I didn't stop. Not because I didn't want to. Because some things had been bottled up too long. I thought I had so much to say. But when the words started coming out, there weren't that many after all. I was with you for 2 years. It's not that I didn't care about you. It's that I didn't know how to let you into my life. Because my life has always been split in half. To my father, I'm the disobedient son. To you, I was just Ryan. An ordinary guy. I didn't know how to merge those two things.
So I chose the easiest way.
Say nothing. You didn't trust me.
Her voice was breaking.
Maybe. After I said that, the kitchen was quiet for a long time. The water kept dripping. 1 drop.
2.
3. She wiped her face, set the soy milk on the counter, picked up the storage box, walked to the door, and put on her shoes. Ryan, I'm going now. She opened the door, stood in the doorway, didn't turn around. How much of the book did you read? About 2/3. She stood there for 2 seconds. Then she left. The door clicked shut. I stood in the kitchen, looking at the half-full cup of soy milk on the counter. The steam had long since faded. Condensation beaded on the inside of the glass. I picked it up and finished it. Cold. After she left, I sat on the couch and finished 100 Years of Solitude. The bookmark was still in her spot. I picked up from there. The pages after were clean. No folds. No notes. She'd never read them. When I reached the last page, it was dark outside. I closed the book and left it on the coffee table. She'd forgotten to take it today. Or maybe it wasn't forgetting. Maybe she'd left it on purpose. The days settled into a rhythm after that. Work on weekdays. Weekends at home, or walking in the park nearby. Late November. Getting colder. The ginkgo trees in the park had dropped most of their leaves. They crunched underfoot. One evening at the park, I saw an old man in a worn military coat sitting on a bench, feeding pigeons. He had a radio beside him playing Peking opera.
Soft.
Just background noise. I sat on the next bench. He glanced at me. How old are you? 26. Best age. Not too young, not too old. Life hasn't crushed you yet, but you know what it's about. Sounds about right. Too bad you don't listen to opera. He said it matter-of-factly. Why is that too bad? If you don't start at 26, by 60 it's too late. Some things you have to learn early. Maybe I'll start now.
He looked at me.
Sit over there. Listen for 10 minutes. If you can stand it, come back and talk. I sat and listened for 10 minutes. I didn't understand any of it, but the melody was nice. After 10 minutes, I told him it wasn't bad. He smiled, pulled a handful of peanuts from his pocket, and gave them to me. You've got patience. You'll do all right.
I ate the peanuts.
We talked for half an hour. He'd been an engineer in his youth, built railways, traveled all over. Now he was retired, came to the park every day to feed pigeons and listen to opera. His wife passed 3 years ago. His kid lived out of state. He was alone. Life was neither good nor bad. It just was. Young man, he said, if there's something you want to do it now. Don't wait. You wait, and then you're old. I went home, took a shower, lying in bed, scrolling my phone. The class group chat was buzzing about a wedding next month. Sophie Sue, a girl who'd sat behind me in senior year. She posted an e-invite. A long string of congratulations followed. I added mine. Then a private message from Sophie. Ryan, are you coming? I checked the date. A Saturday. I said sure. She said she'd add me to the list. I put my phone down, then remembered something. My sister's engagement last month. Her wedding was set for next spring. She'd sent me an e-invite. I hadn't responded. I scrolled through our chat. Found another message from her after the invite. Are you really not coming? Scrolled through her social media. Her most recent post was 3 days ago. 9 photos from the engagement banquet. White and champagne florals. Crystal chandeliers. Long tables. Elegant place settings. Name cards. In the 7th photo, in one corner of the frame, was a girl in a white dress, sitting alone, looking down at her phone.
Profile shot.
The same face from Susan's tablet. Chloe Archer. I stared at the photo for a few seconds, then locked my phone. I didn't want to think about it, but some things don't care what you want. The next morning, a call from an unknown number. I answered. A female voice.
Clean.
Even pace. Not too fast, not too slow. Hello. Is this Ryan? Yes. This is Chloe Archer. Susan gave me your number. I hope that's okay. It's fine. I know you probably don't want to take this call, but I figured it's better if we handle this directly rather than let our families do it for us. Simpler. Less awkward. You're right. Then I'll be direct. My family wants us to meet, but if you're not interested, there's no point wasting anyone's time.
So I wanted to ask you myself.
Do you want to meet or not? I thought for a second. Not. There was a pause. Then she laughed. Not mocking. Not awkward. Genuinely amused, with a note of surprise. You're honest. No point lying to you. That's fair. Then I won't push. But can I ask one more thing? Is it the concept of arranged meetings you're against, or do you have a problem with me personally? No problem with you. Just don't want to be set up. Understood. I'll tell my mother we met, and it didn't click. That work for you? Works. Great. Let's add each other on WeChat. In case we need to coordinate stories for our families. I won't bother you normally. Promise. We hung up and added each other. Her profile picture was an orange cat. Her cover photo was a beach sunset. She didn't post much. A few times a week. Mostly book quotes and landscape shots. Occasional selfies. Nothing posed. Natural. I scrolled through. Then closed the app. I thought that was the end of it. Wednesday evening. My mother called. Her voice was excited.
Ryan.
The Archers say Chloe has a good impression of you.
She wants to meet again.
Next week you two should have dinner. She wouldn't say that. What do you mean? I mean, she told me it didn't work out. She said we'd just tell our families that to get them off our backs. Silence on the line. 5 seconds. Then my mother's voice changed. The excitement drained out, replaced by accusation. You spoke to her on the phone? Yes. What did you tell her? I said I didn't want to be set up. Ryan, are you out of your mind? The girl reached out to you herself, and you told her you're not interested?
Do you have any idea who the Archers are?
Do you know how hard your sister worked to marry in? That's your business. Not mine. My mother took a deep breath on the other end, the way she did when she was trying not to explode. Then her voice softened, shifted into something I knew well, the wounded mother tone, the one I'd been hearing since childhood.
Ryan.
Everything I do is for you. You're out there drifting, making nothing. I worry about you every day. If you and Chloe got together, your path would be easy. I wouldn't have to stay up at night worrying anymore. I leaned against the balcony railing, looked down at the street.
Street lights on.
An occasional car passing.
Mom.
My path is mine to walk.
How?
How do you walk it? Until when? Your classmates are getting married and buying houses. What do you have? You live in that dump and can't even find a decent girlfriend. I have my own pace. Your pace is wasting time.
Her voice rose again.
Ryan, this is not up for discussion. Next Saturday. Both families are having dinner. You will be there. If you don't come, don't call me your mother anymore. I set the phone on the railing and stood there. The night wind was cold. The kind of cold that clears your head. My phone buzzed again. A message from Lena. A photo of food she'd made. 3 dishes and a soup. Looked decent. Caption. Learning to cook. Today's results. I sent a thumbs up. Another message. Have you eaten?
Not yet.
Go eat. Don't just have instant noodles again. I put the phone down. Went to the kitchen. Made noodles. Added an egg, some greens. Sat at the coffee table and ate. The phone buzzed again. Lena. A voice message. I didn't play it. Used speech to text. I used to say your noodles were too bland. They weren't. My taste was just too strong. Do you still add that much salt? I typed back. Less than before.
Good.
Too much salt is bad for you. Then, half a minute later, another message.
Ryan.
Can we start over? I stared at those words for a long time. The noodles went cold. I typed something. Deleted it. Typed again. Deleted again. Finally sent 3 words. Eat first. She didn't reply. That bowl of noodles took me a long time to finish. By the end it was cold. Noodles clumped together. Soy sauce and sesame oil blended into something that wasn't quite good. But I didn't dump it. Ate it spoonful by spoonful. When I washed the bowl, the water drummed against the metal sink. I watched the soap foam and thought about things. Start over. Easy to say. Harder to do. The problems between me and Lena couldn't be solved by starting over. She was still her. I was still me. All the unsaid things. All the secrets. A fresh start wouldn't make them disappear. Not unless I laid everything bare in front of her. Could I do that? I thought about it for a long time.
I didn't know. Saturday. Sunny.
Light pouring through the window, painting a bright rectangle on the floor. I slept in. Past 10. Lay in bed, scrolling my phone. A tech company had laid people off. Housing prices in another city had gone up again. The world changed every day. But the things that changed were never the things that mattered. What mattered stayed the same. Rent was due. Food had to be eaten. Some people left and never came back. Around 11, Vivian called. Ryan, you free today? What's up? You know it's Lena's birthday today, right? I paused. Of course I knew. November 28th. But since the breakup, I hadn't let myself think about it. In past years, I'd order a cake in advance. Buy a gift. Take her somewhere nice. Last year, we went to a Japanese place. Cost nearly $300. She felt bad about it for weeks. Said it was too expensive, and I shouldn't spend like that. So are you coming or not? Vivian said. We're at her place.
Just a few people.
Her parents are here. She won't say it, but I can tell she wants you to come. I thought about it. I don't think it's appropriate. What's inappropriate? What are you still holding back for? She already told you she wants to try again. What are you waiting for? It's not that. I just haven't figured some things out yet.
Vivian's sight.
The sound of someone running out of patience.
Ryan.
What are you actually afraid of? That she'll hurt you again? Or that you can't do it? Maybe both. Let me be real with you. What happened with Cole was her mistake. I'm her best friend, and I'll say that. But people screw up. She knows she screwed up. She's trying to fix it. Can't you give her one chance? I didn't say no. I just need time. Through the phone, I heard Lena's voice in the background. Distant. Talking to someone else. Vivian covered the receiver and said something. Then came back. If you don't show up, I'll tell her you're sick. I'll cover for you. But figure out what you want. Do you want this person or not? I'll come tonight.
Good.
I'll send you the address.
6 o'clock.
Don't be late. I showered, changed into clean clothes, got a taxi to the mall. The gift was a problem. In the past, I'd given her scarves, bags, perfume, books. Now, after the breakup, everything felt wrong. Too expensive, and it looked like I was showing off. Too cheap, and it looked dismissive. Too personal, and it looked like I was crossing a line. I walked the mall twice. Ended up at a stationery store. Bought a fountain pen. Not too pricey. Dark green barrel. Good weight in the hand. The clerk wrapped it in a navy box with a ribbon. As I walked out, my phone rang.
Susan.
Ryan. Sorry to bother you. Just confirming the time and place for next Saturday's dinner. Is that convenient for you? I never agreed to that dinner. A pause. Then Susan said, Ryan, I understand your position, but there's something you may not know.
What?
Chloe doesn't want this either, but her father's health hasn't been good. They found something this year. She wants him to have peace of mind. That's the only reason she agreed. She told me she spoke with you. Said you were a decent guy, but not interested. The way she said it, she wasn't upset. She sounded relieved. She continued, I'm not trying to pressure you. I just want you to have the full picture. Everyone has things they can't control. You don't want to be set up. She has reasons she can't refuse. Nobody's in an easy spot. If you really can't do it, I'll smooth things over with both sides. You won't be put in a difficult position. Let me think about it. Take your time. I hung up, stood at the mall entrance, watched the crowd. A mother walked past holding her child's hand. The kid had a pink balloon with a cartoon character on it. The kid was laughing, mouth wide open, one front tooth missing. What was the point of living? Too big a question. I couldn't answer it. But making the people around you happy, that seemed like something worth doing. For my mother, happiness meant me obeying, marrying into the Archers, walking a stable path. For my sister, happiness meant smooth sailing, no complications. For Lena, happiness meant me showing up, not hiding, giving each other a real chance. For Chloe, happiness meant her father having peace, not carrying regret to his grave. Everyone wanted something different, and I was stuck in the middle, a rope being pulled in every direction. Moving anywhere meant letting someone down. I took a taxi to Lena's place. She lived in an old neighborhood, slightly nicer than mine, but still 90s-era buildings. Walk up. 6th floor. I arrived just before 6. The stairwell smelled like someone was stewing ribs. 6th floor. The door was open. Voices and laughter drifted out. A pair of women's sneakers and some guest slippers by the door. I changed into slippers and stepped inside. The living room was small, full of people. Vivian and a girl I didn't recognize on the couch. Someone was cooking in the kitchen. The range hood hummed. Vivian spotted me first.
Grinned.
Then yelled toward the kitchen. Lena, someone's here. Lena emerged, wearing an apron, spatula in hand. Hair pinned up carelessly. Face flushed from the heat. She saw me.
Paused.
Then smiled. A real smile. Unguarded. You came. Happy birthday. I handed her the gift. She took the box and looked at the wrapping. Said thank you. Set it on the coffee table, without opening it. That small gesture eased something in my chest. If she'd opened it there, I wouldn't have known what to say. Her parents came out from the back room. Her father was tall and thin. Hair half gray. Glasses.
Scholarly.
Her mother was shorter. Round face. Warm smile. They both looked at me naturally, like they'd known I was coming all along.
Ryan.
Sit, sit. Food's almost ready. Her mother poured me tea. Her father sat across from me. Asked how work was. I said fine. He nodded. Not too many words. But not cold either. Well calibrated. Lena went back to the kitchen. Her mother followed. That left me in the living room with Vivian and the other girl. Vivian introduced her. Lena's coworker.
Zoe.
Zoe looked at me, then at Vivian. Whispered. That's the Ryan? Vivian nodded. Zoe's expression shifted. She didn't say anything else. Went back to her phone. I sat on the couch, watched the kitchen. The range had turned off. The sound of stir-frying and voices took over. Occasionally, Lena laughed. Not loud, but clear. At dinner, the table was covered. Braised ribs, steamed fish, garlic broccoli, tomato eggs,
Soup.
a few cold dishes. Lena gestured at the spread, a little embarrassed. My mom did most of it. I just helped. Your photo from the other day looked good. She blinked. Probably didn't expect me to bring that up. Then smiled. I followed a recipe. Forgot to add salt. Her mother added, she's been blowing up the kitchen lately. Practicing every day. Everyone laughed. The meal felt normal. So normal, it was almost surreal. Like Lena and I had never broken up. Like everything had reset to the way it was. Her parents there. Friends there. All of us sitting together, talking about nothing. But I knew it wasn't the same. Before, when I sat here, I was an ordinary person. Now, I was a Chun. The gap between those two identities, she didn't understand it. Her parents didn't. But someone at the table did. Vivian knew. She looked at me differently now. Not with her usual casual bluntness. With a careful, measuring gaze. She was trying to figure out who I really was. Whether Lena getting back together with me was the right call. Halfway through the meal, Lena's phone rang. She glanced at the screen. Her face changed. She grabbed the phone and stepped onto the balcony. Her voice was low, but the living room wasn't well insulated.
No.
I told you no. Stop calling me. She hung up, stood on the balcony for a moment, then came back inside. Her face had been reset. Smile back in place.
Keep eating.
What are you all waiting for? She sat down. Put a piece of rib in my bowl.
Eat more.
You look too thin.
이와트차.
The light cast a small shadow under her lashes. Beneath her eyes, a faint darkness. You had to look closely to see it. I didn't ask who called. I already knew. After dinner, the cake. Vivian had bought it. A fruit cake. Number candles. Lena made a wish. Blew them out. Everyone clapped. Someone asked what she wished for. She said it wouldn't come true if she told. She cut the first slice and handed it to me. Too much frosting. She scraped the edge of the plate with her finger, then licked the frosting off. A gesture I'd seen 100 times. Every time, I'd thought it was adorable. Tonight, it didn't feel warm. It felt like something catching in my chest. Because in the past, I would have smiled and said she was like a kid. Tonight, I said nothing. While we ate cake, Vivian leaned close. Voice low. You know who that call was from?
Yeah.
You're not going to ask her about it? If she wants me to know, she'll tell me. Vivian looked at me for a few seconds. You're something else. Forget it. Around 9, people started leaving. Vivian and Zoe went first. Her parents retreated to their room. The living room was just me and Lena. She sat on the couch. I sat on a chair across from her. The coffee table between us. Half-eaten cake. Half-finished drinks. She stared at her lap. Her finger traced invisible circles on her knee. That call was Cole. I figured. He wanted to come see me. I said no. He said a lot of things. How he regretted everything. How he'd realized what he really wanted.
How it was always me.
It's ridiculous. When we were together, he barely looked at me. Now that I've made it clear I'm done, he's putting on this whole tortured act.
People do that.
They only value things after they're gone. She raised her head. Her eyes searched mine. What about you? Did you only realize after I was gone?
No.
What's different? I thought about it. I always knew what I had. I just didn't know how to keep it. Her eyes started to redden, but she held it back.
Ryan.
When you say things like that, I'll take them seriously. I'm telling the truth. She stood up, walked over to me, looked down. Her face was close. Close enough that I could smell her. Not perfume. The clean scent of face wash. A hint of buttercream from the cake. Can you not say nice things? Her voice shook. Why? She bent down and hugged me. Very light, very brief. Then pulled back. Took 2 steps away. Breathed in deep. Smiled. You should go home. Get home safe. At the door, putting on my shoes, I felt her eyes on me. She stood in the middle of the living room, hands in her sweater pockets.
Ryan.
Next Saturday. Are you going to that arranged dinner? My hands paused. News traveled fast. How do you know about that? Vivian told me. She heard from Jason. He heard from someone in your class. Your family set you up with some rich girl. The Archers. I didn't deny it. She bit her lip. Bit it hard. The skin went white. Are you going? I don't know yet. She held my gaze for several seconds. Then said, last time, you said you didn't want to meet anyone, but you still took that girl's call. That was to make things clear. Then can you make things clear to me by next Saturday? I didn't know what she meant, whether she wanted me to give her an answer before then, or whether she wanted me to skip the dinner and tell her I'd skipped it. I'll try. She smiled, a smile with relief in it, and uncertainty, like someone walking down a road with no visible end. Not sure if there's an exit ahead or a dead end, but choosing to keep walking anyway. Okay, get home safe. It was almost 10 when I left. The old complex was quiet. Street lights dim. Stray cats crouched by the trash bins. They didn't run when I passed, just stared. I lit a cigarette and walked. At an intersection, the light turned red. I stopped. My phone buzzed. A message from Chloe Archer. Ryan. I just told my mom we met, and it didn't work out. She doesn't believe me. She says she's going to call your mom directly. I told her I'd handle it myself. Can you back me up? Just reply with something like, thanks, Mrs. Archer, I understand. So I can screenshot it for my mom. I typed, thanks, Mrs. Archer. I understand. She replied, thanks. I owe you one. Then another message. You're not what I expected. What did you expect? Someone who'd put on an act. But you're real. You're kind of blunt, but at least you're not fake. Real people are hard to find these days. I stared at the message. Didn't know how to respond. The light turned green. I crossed. A few steps later, another message. Lena. Ryan. Let me know when you're home. Not yet. Almost. Be safe.
Text me when you get there.
A taxi came. I flagged it.
Got in.
Gave the driver my address. The driver was middle-aged. The radio played a late-night call-in show. A female host reading listener letters in a soft voice. He said he thought he didn't love her anymore. But after they separated, he realized some people are carved into your bones. The harder you try to forget, the clearer they become. The driver changed the station. An old song came on. I leaned against the window, watched the lights slide past. My mind drifted. Home a little past 11. Texted Lena, here. She replied instantly, sleep early. Good night. Good night. After my shower, lying in bed, the phone buzzed again. Vivian. Ryan. One question.
Be honest. What?
You and that Archer girl. Is there anything there?
No.
What about you and Lena? Is there? I don't know. You don't know? Bullshit. You weren't like that at her place tonight. She hugged you, and you didn't pull away. You don't know? I really don't. What do you know? I know too little. Vivian sent a voice message. I didn't play it.
Didn't transcribe it.
But I could guess the tone. Frustrated. That I give up on you to resignation. Lights off. Eyes closed. My mind spun. Images tangled together. Lena standing in the kitchen doorway with soy milk. Chloe's message calling me real. My mother crying on the phone. My father saying the company needs the Archers' resources like it was the most obvious thing in the world. That photo. My sister's engagement banquet. Chloe in the corner, looking at her phone. Everything connected. Pull one thread, and everything else shifted. I rolled over, buried my face in the pillow. Nothing disappeared in the dark. The lights went out, but it was all still there. 100 years of solitude still sat on the coffee table. She'd forgotten it again today. Or maybe not. Chapter 3. The room where it happens. The next few days, one question kept running through my mind. What holds people together? Feelings? Habit? Mutual benefit? Or just being at a certain point in time where you don't have better options, so you choose the person in front of you? I thought about it a lot. Didn't find an answer. Monday morning. I got to work and found Leo's desk empty. Asked around. He'd been fired Friday. The official reason was project delays and client dissatisfaction. Everyone knew the real reason. He'd talked back to the department head last month. The manager waited. Found an excuse. Cut him loose. Leo was 34. 4 years at the company. Mortgage. Car payment.
Kid.
Over $4,000 a month in bills. Now no job. Nobody knew what came next. I texted him at lunch. Asked how he was doing. He sent back a smiley face. Said he was fine, just taking a few days to rest. The smiley looked exhausted. I looked at that message and thought, my problems aren't problems. Getting pressured by my family. Matchmaking arrangements. Complicated history with my ex compared to what Leo was facing. It all felt light. Afternoon. Weekly meeting. The department had handed out next month's targets. New KPIs for everyone. Nobody spoke. Heads down taking notes. Occasional glances at the manager's face, then back down. Back at my desk. 2 unread messages. One from Lena. A photo of her in a bookstore. Holding love in the time of cholera.
Caption. Bought this.
Will lend it to you when I'm done. One from my sister. What's your decision about Saturday's dinner? Mom wants me to ask. If you don't respond, she's coming to find you herself. I replied to Lena first. Okay. Tell me when you finish. Then to my sister. I know. 3 words. My finger hovered over the screen before sending. What did I know? Nothing. I just didn't want her pushing anymore. Underscore 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 underscore. Tuesday night. Susan called again. Ryan. The dinner on Saturday has been confirmed. Chinese restaurant at the Shangri-La, 6:30 p.m. I'll send you the details. I never agreed to this. Susan was quiet for 2 seconds.
Then, Ryan.
Let me be honest. The Archers have already finalized this dinner. Invitations have gone out. It won't just be the 2 families. Some business partners will be there. If you don't show up, it's not just about saving face. It could impact deals already in progress. That has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with you. Her voice was still steady, but there was a new edge. Your last name is Chen. You're Richard Chen's son. Whether you accept it or not, the world sees you as a representative of the Chen family. If you don't appear, what will people think? They'll think there's internal trouble in the Chen family. They'll think the Chens aren't serious about their relationship with the Archers. That affects real interests. I was on the rooftop terrace at work, leaning on the railing, looking down at the street. Rush hour fading. Fewer cars. An occasional taxi. Headlights dragging long streaks across the pavement. Susan. None of that means anything to me. I'm not a businessman. I don't care about interests. She sighed. Her voice softened. Ryan, I'm not talking about business. I'm telling you a fact. Your family has already pushed you into this position. Whether you step back or not isn't entirely up to you. Unless you're willing to completely sever ties with your family.
Can you do that? No.
We both knew that. I understand where you're coming from, she said. I understand you don't want to be controlled. But sometimes, showing up to a dinner doesn't mean you're agreeing to anything. It's just a gesture. You appear. You eat. You make small talk. Then you leave. Everything else can be dealt with later. I didn't say anything. She waited. Then, think it over.
No rules.
But I hope you'll come. I hung up and stood on the rooftop for a long time. The wind was cold. Stung my forehead. I zipped my jacket to my chin. Lit a cigarette. Susan was right about one thing. A dinner didn't have to mean agreement. But the problem was, for me, it did. I knew how this worked. Show up at an event like that and everyone in the room would assume I'd said yes. If I backed out later, I'd be the one going back on my word. The one who didn't know what was good for him. This was my father's playbook. He wasn't asking me. He was backing me into a corner and telling me to look.
See?
Forward is your only option. I finished my cigarette, went back to my desk. Wednesday afternoon. My mother showed up at my office. No warning. She just appeared in the lobby. Dark blue coat. New hairstyle. She looked better than the last time I'd seen her. The receptionist called my desk, voice a little panicked. Said there was a woman downstairs claiming to be my mother. I came down. She was standing next to the Christmas tree the building had put up last week. December wasn't even here yet, and the decorations were already up. Colored balls. LED lights. Blinking even in broad daylight.
Mom,
What are you doing here?
she smiled when she saw me.
Pulled out an insulated bag. I made you soup. Pork ribs and lotus root. Drink it while it's hot. I took the bag. You could have told me you were coming. If I told you, you'd tell me not to come. She stepped closer. Straightened my collar. Look at you. Wrinkled shirt. Don't you own an iron? I stood there and let her fuss. A few coworkers glanced at us curiously as they passed, then hurried on. You want to come up?
No.
I just came to bring you soup. And to tell you something. I knew what she was going to say. The dinner on Saturday. You have to come. She looked at me. Not commanding. Not pleading. Something in between. The specific tone mothers use when they mean you should know better.
Mom, I don't want to.
I know you don't. I'm not asking you to make any decisions. Just come. Eat a meal. Meet the girl. Talk a little. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I won't force you. But give me this. Okay. I looked into her eyes.
Hope. Worry.
And underneath, the guilt of someone who'd already bragged to everyone that her son would definitely show up. I wanted to say no. But what came out was, I'll think about it. She smiled. The relieved kind. Patched my arm. Good.
Think.
I'm not rushing you. Drink the soup before it gets cold. She turned and walked away, heels clicking on the marble floor.
Sharp.
Rhythmic. I stood in the lobby holding the insulated bag. For a long time, the receptionist asked cautiously, Ryan, you okay? Fine. Upstairs. At my desk. Open the bag. The soup was still hot. Ribs falling off the bone. Lotus root soft and starchy. Thin layer of oil on the surface. I drank it slowly, spoonful by spoonful. The soup was good, but something stuck in my throat the whole time. Thursday. Routine.
Work.
Overtime. Home. Lena messaged me every evening. Sometimes a photo. Sometimes what did you eat today? Sometimes a voice message about small things. A stray cat she saw on the street. Her mother nagging her about finding someone. A yoga class that nearly killed her. I replied to everyone. But my replies were short. Not on purpose. I genuinely didn't know what to say that would feel right. Something had shifted. Before, when we were together, I could tell her anything. Weird guy on the subway. Office water cooler broke. Convenience store started carrying a good rice ball. Now those things felt wrong to share. Because before, underneath all the small talk, there was the unspoken assumption that we'd always be together. That assumption was gone now. So everything I said felt off somehow. Thursday night, she sent a long voice message. I hesitated, then played it. Her voice was quiet, like she didn't want to be overheard. Background silent. Probably in her room. Ryan, I was thinking today about all the time we spent together, the good and the bad. I realized I only remember the good. You drying my hair, making congee when I was sick, waiting for me at the subway exit. The bad things, I can't remember them anymore. I really can't. I don't know what that means. Maybe it means I've forgiven myself.
And you.
Maybe it means I'm really ready now. Ready to start again. But I know you're not ready yet. That's okay. I'll wait. I just want you to know.
I'll wait.
The message ended. I put my phone on the desk, stared at the waveform on the screen for a long time, then typed I know.
Sent it.
Felt too light. Added, thank you for waiting. She sent back a smiley face. That night, I couldn't sleep, tossing and turning, her words looping in my head. I'll wait. Waiting was a heavy word. It meant someone was willing to spend their time on an uncertain outcome. And time, once it's gone, doesn't come back. You can't get a refund. So someone who waits for you is essentially gambling, betting that you're worth the waste.
Was I worth that?
I didn't know. Friday. I took the afternoon off. I almost went to the hospital. Not because I was sick. Because Chloe's words had lodged in my head. Her father's health hasn't been good. They found something this year. I don't know why I wanted to confirm it. Curiosity, maybe. Or looking for an excuse not to go to the dinner. Or just checking if Susan had been telling the truth. But the reasoning felt flimsy. Even to me. I didn't go. Instead, I went to my sister's office. Her bridal boutique. She was a partner in a high-end custom wedding dress company. Her office was in a CBD tower. Tasteful. White and blush tones. Mannequins in the entryway wearing gowns with trailing skirts. Spotlighting that made the beadwork glitter. My sister looked up when I walked in.
Blinked.
Then smiled.
Well.
You came to see me. That's new. Was in the area. She gave me a tour. Her office was small but warm. Lilies on the desk. A wedding photo on the wall. Her and Franklin. She looked happy in it. Genuinely happy. Franklin treating you well? I asked. Her hand paused as she poured water. Then she smiled. He's great. The smile was too polished. Too standard. I couldn't tell if it was real.
Ryan.
I know you didn't come just to see me. She handed me the water. Sat behind her desk. Folded her hands. Looked at me. I sat across from her. Held the cup.
Didn't drink.
The dinner on Saturday. You're still hesitating.
Yeah.
She sighed. Ryan, I'm going to be straight with you. When Dad set me up with Franklin, I didn't want it either. He was 8 years older. Average looking. Talked so slow. I felt nothing. I listened. But over time, I realized he's a good man. He treats me well. He treats our family well. Dad's business problems. Franklin's the one smoothing things over. Feelings? They grow. You don't need love at first sight for it to be real. So, you want me to follow your path? I'm not telling you to follow my path. I'm telling you, don't dismiss something before you try it. I know it won't work. How can you know? Because my heart is with someone else. I didn't say it out loud. My sister looked at me with that older sibling certainty. You're still hung up on that Lena girl, aren't you? I didn't deny it.
She leaned back. Crossed her arms.
The I know better posture. Ryan, you were with her for 2 years. Were you happy? Yes. Then why did you break up? Because she had feelings for someone else. I didn't say that either. Not because I couldn't. Because if I did, my sister would say, see? She had someone else in her heart, and you're still chasing her. But it wasn't that simple. Lena could have feelings for Cole and still choose to be with me. Those things weren't contradictory.
People are like that.
They can carry different people in their hearts at different times, giving each one different weight. I told my sister I'd handle my own business.
You always say that.
And you always handle it badly. I didn't argue. Leaving her office. Getting dark. Neon signs flickering on. The after-work crowd flowing toward the subway. Tired faces. Relieved faces. Everyone heading somewhere. My phone buzzed. Lena. Ryan. Tomorrow's Saturday. Are you going to go? She knew I was struggling with it. I typed a few words. Deleted them. Sent. Haven't decided. If you go, let me know. Okay. She sent a hug emoji. Then, whatever you decide. I'll be here. The emoji glowed on the screen for a moment. Then the screen dimmed.
Locked. Saturday.
I woke up just past 7. Sunlight through the curtain gap. A thin line of gold on the floor. I lay there staring at the ceiling, listening to birds. For a long time. Today was the day. Shangri-La, 6:30 p.m. I stayed in bed until after 9. Got up. Showered. Made noodles. Added a fried egg. Overcooked it. Yolk solid. Tasted like nothing. Washed the bowl. Sat back on the couch. Turned on the TV. Some dating show. Guy on stage. 24 women across from him. All smiling. All evaluating. All calculating. I turned it off. At 11 my mother called.
Ryan.
Do you have your outfit ready? I'm not going. Silence. Then her voice shifted from casual to tense. You said yesterday you were thinking about it. I said I'd think. I didn't say yes. Have you finished thinking? Yes. The word was on the tip of my tongue, but I didn't say it, because in the background, I heard my father's voice.
Distant.
Talking to someone else. But the words came through clearly. The Archer family's car is already arranged. Pick up downstairs at 6. And in that moment, I understood something. This was never my decision to make. Whether I went or not, in everyone else's mind, I'd already agreed. Because my name was Chen. Because I was Richard Chen's son. Because my sister had married into the Archers. All of these things I'd never chosen. They'd already chosen for me. My mother was still waiting on the line. I said, I understand. She thought I meant I understand, I'll be there. Her voice lightened immediately.
Good.
Wear the navy suit I bought you. It's in your closet. Okay. I hung up, sat on the couch, stared at nothing, then got up, opened the closet. The navy suit hung there, still in its plastic garment bag. I ripped the bag off, held it up to the mirror. It fit. Of course it fit. My mother bought it. She had good taste. I hung it back up, sat down again. My phone kept buzzing. Message after message. My mother, shave. Fix your hair. Don't look sloppy. My sister, see you tonight. Don't be late. Susan Ryan. Address sent to your phone. Car will be downstairs at 6. License plate ending in 668. Chloe. My dad's in a good mood today. Thank you. Lena, Ryan. I'm downstairs. That last one stopped me cold. I stood up, walked to the window, looked down. Old complex. No underground parking. All the cars parked on the street and in the open lot. 4th floor. From the window, I could see the main path and the entrance to my building. She was standing at the entrance. Camel coat. Holding a bag. Head tilted up, scanning the floors. Trying to figure out which window was mine. I stepped back, so she wouldn't see me. Grabbed my phone. Why are you here? She replied instantly. I wanted to tell you something in person. I stood behind the curtain, watching her. November wind.
Strong.
Her hair and coat blown sideways. She pulled the coat tighter, but her feet didn't move. I typed, it's cold. Come up. She looked up toward my window, then pushed open the building door. The entrance lock had been broken for 3 months. The property manager kept saying they'd fix it. They never did. Her footsteps echoed up the stairwell, floor by floor. Getting closer. I stood at the door and waited. She appeared at the landing, breathing hard, for flights of stairs. Her face was red from the wind, or the climb. She saw me and smiled. Held up the bag. I brought lunch. Braised ribs. I made them. You used to love these. I stepped aside. She came in, changing her shoes. Her eyes swept the room, landed on the coffee table. 100 years of solitude.
She paused.
The corner of her mouth curved. You still have it. It's your book. You forgot it. I didn't forget. I left it. I didn't reply. She set the bag on the coffee table. Opened it. 2 containers. 1 ribs. 1 rice. The ribs were still warm. She must have made them at home and taken a taxi straight here. Try them. I followed a recipe. Made it twice. First batch was too salty. This one should be right. I got chopsticks. Picked up a piece.
Bit in. Perfect.
The meat fell off the bone. Soy sauce and sugar balanced just right. The flavor I used to make for her. The one she was now making for me. Is it good? She watched my face. Expectant.
Yeah.
She smiled. The real kind. Eyes crescenting. 2 shallow dimples. I sat on the couch eating ribs. She sat next to me, holding a glass of water, watching me eat. Quiet.
Warm.
Like 100 weekend afternoons before. Except we both knew today wasn't ordinary. I finished the last piece. Closed the container. She handed me a napkin from her pocket. I wiped my mouth. Ryan.
Yeah. Tonight.
Are you going? She finally asked. I looked at her. Those eyes. Fear in them.
Hope.
a fragile kind of defiance. Tell me you're going, and I'll cry right here. I don't know. You don't know? Her voice pitched higher.
Urgent. Ryan.
If you go tonight, you're saying yes.
You know that.
Once you go, there's no turning back. I know. Then why would you go? I didn't say I was going. But you didn't say you're not. She was right. I hadn't said I wasn't. Because I wasn't sure. I wasn't even sure what I was unsure about. Whether I wanted to go. Whether I could not go. What would happen if I went? What would happen if I didn't? Everything was uncertain. Only one thing was certain. She was sitting in front of me, looking into my eyes, waiting for an answer. She set down the water glass, turned to face me fully. Ryan,
I want to tell you something.
and I want you to hear all of it before you decide. Her voice was steady, but her fingers on her knee were trembling. Do you know why I started talking to Cole in the first place?
No.
Because you were too good.
You were so good it scared me.
You never fought with me. Never lost your temper. You gave me everything I needed. And it made me feel like I didn't deserve it. Like one day you'd realize I wasn't enough. And you'd leave. So, I thought I'll leave first. Then it won't hurt as much. Cole was different. He wasn't good to me. So I kept reaching for him. It's a sickness. I know that. But people are like that. They think they don't deserve good things. So they chase things that are wrong for them. It took me a long time to understand this. And by the time I did, you were already gone.
She paused, took a breath.
Ryan, can you give me a chance? Not for me.
For you.
Do you really want your family to arrange your whole life? Do you really want to marry a woman you've never met? Are you sure you won't regret it? Her eyes were wet, but she didn't cry. I'm not forcing you to decide right now. I just want you to know, whatever you choose, I'll be here. But if you go, I might not be able to stay. Not because I don't want to. Because I can't watch you walk into that place and then come back and tell me you're engaged. I'm not that strong. The last words came out so small, almost inaudible. The room went quiet. For a long time. Outside, a car horn blared. Sharp.
Brief.
Then gone. I looked at her. She was looking down, lashes casting small shadows on her cheeks, hands on her knees, still trembling. I reached out, took her hand, cold. She looked up, eyes full of water. Lena. Yeah. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can handle everything. I don't know if I can satisfy everyone, you, my mother, my father, all of them. And I don't know if I'm worth you waiting for. I paused, held her hand tighter. But I want to try. Her tears fell, silent, dropping onto the back of my hand, one after another. What do you mean, try? Her voice shook. I mean, I'm not going to the dinner tonight. She covered her mouth. The tears came faster. She tried to speak, but the crying blocked her throat. She just nodded. Hard.
Once. Twice.
I pulled her toward me, held her. She buried her face in my shoulder and sobbed. Not the controlled kind. The kind you can't hold back. Shoulders shaking. Hands gripping my back.
Tight.
Like I'd disappear if she let go. I didn't say anything. Some moments don't need words. She cried for a long time. Long enough that I thought she might not stop. But eventually she did. Pulled back.
Sniffling.
Eyes red and swollen. Nose red too. Ryan.
Yeah.
What you just said. Is it true? It's true. She sniffed. Wiped her face with the back of her hand. Smiled. A messy smile. Tears and mascara smeared across her cheeks. But real. The kind that comes from somewhere deep. Relief and disbelief and joy all tangled together. Then I'm staying tonight. I'm staying right here. Okay. She leaned into me, head on my shoulder. Quiet. Outside, the sun angled west. The light through the window shifted from white to gold. Crept across the floor. Slow. Like time itself was moving at a different speed. My phone buzzed. Susan.
Ryan.
The driver is downstairs. I didn't reply. Lena was resting against my shoulder. Eyes closed. Breathing steady. Like she was asleep. I turned my phone over. Set it face down on the couch. Closed my eyes. The outside world was big.
So many things.
Everyone with their reasons. Every road leading somewhere. None of it mattered. Not right now. Chapter 4. The Cost of Saying No. The phone buzzed a few more times. I didn't check. Lena was asleep against my shoulder, breathing slow. Her hair tickled my neck. I didn't move. The light through the window went from gold to orange to gray-blue. Winter. Dark came early. By 5:30, it was already dim. I glanced at her, sleeping deeply, eyebrows slightly furrowed, lips a little dry. The tear tracks had dried, left faint streaks on her cheeks. She probably hadn't slept well in a long time. I don't know when I fell asleep. When I woke, it was fully dark. No lights on in the apartment. Just the street lamp glow through the window, tracing the furniture in amber outlines. Lena wasn't next to me. I sat up. A blanket had been draped over me. I didn't know where she'd found it. The containers on the coffee table were gone, packed into the bag by the door. Sounds from the kitchen. Quiet, like someone trying not to make noise. I got up, walked barefoot to the kitchen doorway.
She had her back to me,
Standing at the stove.
cooking something.
The range hood light was on. It softened her outline. She'd changed into a t-shirt. My t-shirt. An old one. Way too big. The collar slipped off one shoulder. She'd tied her hair up with a hair tie. The hair tie. The one she'd left hanging on the kitchen hook over a year ago. Still there. She'd remembered exactly where it was. You're awake. She didn't turn around. Heard my footsteps. Yeah. I made congee. Your fridge is empty. I just threw in some century egg and shredded pork. Hope that works. I leaned against the doorframe. Watched her. She used to do this. Wear my clothes as pajamas. I'd tell her to wear her own. She'd say mine were bigger. More comfortable. All these small things. Ordinary. Meaningless at the time. Now each one was a needle. Pressing lightly against my chest. Not pain. Just a reminder. Your phone kept buzzing, she said.
Her voice was calm.
But her hand on the ladle paused. I didn't look, but it went off a lot. I went back to the living room, picked up my phone. 17 unread messages. My mother, 6. My sister, 4. Susan, 3. Chloe, 2. Jason, 1. 2 missed calls from a number I didn't recognize. My mother's. First message, 5:32 p.m., Ryan. The driver says you're not downstairs. What's going on? 5:45 p.m., call me back. 6:02 p.m. Ryan, are you trying to humiliate me? Everyone is waiting. 6:21 p.m. Your father is furious. Get here now. 6:40 p.m. Do you have any idea who's at this dinner tonight? How are we supposed to face anyone? 7:15 p.m. Forget it. Don't come. Your father and I have been completely humiliated. The gaps between messages grew longer, the tone shifting from anxious to angry to defeated. In the span of 2 hours, my mother had ridden an entire emotional roller coaster. My sister's messages. 5:50 p.m. 6:05 p.m. Ryan, have you lost your mind? 6:35 p.m. Do you know Dad just threw his phone? He's never lost face like this in front of the Archers. 7 p.m. You explain this to Dad yourself. I'm done. Susan's. 6 p.m. Ryan. Miss Archer has arrived. How far out are you? 6:30 p.m. Ryan. If you're not coming, please let me know so I can manage the situation. 7:10 p.m. Understood. That last one. For words.
Clean.
No wasted emotion. Susan was a professional. She'd probably guessed the outcome before she sent it. Chloe's. 2 messages. 6:15 p.m. You're not coming, are you? 7:30 p.m. Probably for the best. I didn't want to come either.
Thanks.
That thanks. I didn't know what it was for. Thanking me for giving her an excuse to fend off her family. Or thanking me for sparing us both an awkward meal. Jason's. 8:05 p.m. Holy shit, Ryan. I heard what happened. You actually didn't show. You've got balls. I didn't reply to any of them. Put the phone down. Sat on the couch. Stared at the ceiling. Lena came out of the kitchen with a bowl of congee.
Set it in front of me.
Steam rose. The smell of century egg and pork filled the quiet room. She sat across from me, watching. You read the messages?
Yeah.
Are you okay? I don't know. She didn't push. Handed me the spoon. Eat first. Don't think about anything. Just eat. I ate. The congee was good. Rice cooked down to a soft bloom. Century egg chopped fine. Pork shredded by hand into thin strands. She'd probably been in the kitchen for a while. It's good, I said. She smiled, relieved. When I finished, she took the bowl, washed it, cleaned the kitchen. I sat on the couch and listened. Water running, dishes clinking, the fridge opening and closing. Sounds I used to hear every day. Then I didn't. Now I did again. Familiar enough to hurt. She came out of the kitchen, sat beside me, about a fist's width of space between us. No TV, no lights,
2 people in the dark.
just the street lamp glow and occasional headlights through the window. Ryan, what are you thinking? What was I thinking? I'm thinking about what happens next. She didn't answer right away. Then, do you regret it? Not going?
No.
Really? Really? That dinner. If I'd gone, I'd spend the rest of my life wondering, what if I hadn't? I didn't go. Whatever came next, at least I'd made my own choice. The consequences? I'd deal with them. What about your dad? I don't know. Your mom? I don't know that either. She turned to face me. The room was dim, but her eyes caught the light. From the street lamp or from somewhere else, I wasn't sure. Ryan, I'm scared you'll fall out with your family because of me. I won't fall out. We'll fight. Probably. Does fighting solve anything?
No.
But at least they'd know I'm not someone they can push around. That message, on its own, was worth sending. She was quiet for a long time, then reached out, took my hand. Her hand was smaller than mine. Long fingers, defined knuckles. I used to tell her she had cold hands. She'd say it was just how she was. I got used to tucking her hand in my pocket, walking down the street, waiting in line, on the subway platform. Ryan, whatever happens next, I'm here. We talked late that night. Talked about things we'd never talked about before. She asked me when my happiest day was growing up. I said I couldn't remember.
She said try.
I thought for a long time. Maybe when I was 7. My dad took me fishing. He wasn't as busy back then. We sat by a reservoir all day. Didn't catch a single fish. But he laughed a lot. He was happy. What happened after? He got busier. Never took me fishing again. She asked about my worst day. I said when I was 18. My mother read my journal. Found things I didn't want them to know. My father slapped me. Said I wasn't a real man. Said writing things down instead of saying them to his face was cowardly. What did you write? I couldn't remember. Teenage confusion. Anger. Feeling trapped in a life that didn't belong to me. Did it hurt? The slap?
No.
But I never wrote in a journal again. She was quiet for a while after that. Then she rested her head on my shoulder.
Ryan.
You're a sensitive person. You just hide it. Maybe. Past 1 in the morning. We decided to sleep. She went to wash up. I changed the sheets. The old set hadn't been changed in too long. Had a smell. I pulled a clean set from the closet. Light gray. She'd bought them. A long time ago. She came out of the bathroom. Saw the changed sheets.
Paused.
Smiled. You still have these. Too lazy to buy new ones. She climbed into bed. Left side. Her old side. I turned off the light. Got in on the right.
Darkness.
2 bodies. A small distance between us. Quiet. I could hear her breathing. Slightly unnatural at first. 2 people sharing a bed for the first time in a long time.
Tentative.
She turned on her side. Facing me. Can we really start over? She'd asked this before. Over text. I hadn't answered directly. Now she was asking face to face. No more evading. I thought about it. In the dark, I couldn't see her expression. But I felt her gaze. The weight of someone waiting for a verdict. Lena. Starting over doesn't mean going back. The old way. It had problems. We need to do this differently. What way? Say the things that need to be said. No hiding. No avoiding. I ask you something, you tell me the truth. You ask me, I do the same.
Can you do that?
She was quiet. Then, yes. Then I have a question. Ask. You and Cole, were you ever actually together? This question had been lodged in my chest for months. Not because I didn't know, because I needed to hear her say it. Her breath caught. Then, no. Not really. We were in this ambiguous thing for a while. He asked me out a few times. Dinner. A movie. But he never said he wanted to be with me. When I broke up with you, I told myself it was for him. But it wasn't. What was it for? An excuse. A reason to leave. You were so good to me. If I said, I want to break up, no reason, you'd ask why. I wouldn't know how to answer. But if I said it was because of him, you wouldn't ask. Because you have too much pride. You'd never fight for someone whose heart was somewhere else. Her voice cracked. She held it together. I know that's a terrible thing to do. I'm sorry. I understand. Do you hate me? I never hated you. Really? Really? What you did was your choice. I don't have the right to hate you for it. I just thought it was a shame. 2 years together. Ending like that. She didn't say anything. In the dark, her hand found mine. Held on. It won't happen again, she said. I swear. Don't swear. People make mistakes. What matters is knowing where you went wrong. She moved closer, curled against me, face buried in my chest, like a cat. I hesitated, then put my arm around her. She smelled like face wash.
Clean. Light.
Her hair tickled my chin. Thank you for not giving up on me. I didn't respond, not because I didn't want to, because I didn't know what to say. I'd never thought of myself as having the right to give up or not give up on anyone. I just did what felt right at the time. She broke up with me. I said okay, because she made a choice and I respected it. She came back. I didn't shut her out, because people have the right to regret, to choose again. It wasn't about giving up.
It was about respect.
Respecting her as a person with the right to make her own decisions, even the wrong ones. I didn't say any of this. Saying it would have sounded like a lecture. We stayed like that. I don't know how long. Her breathing deepened. She was asleep. I was not. Staring at the ceiling. Running through tomorrow in my head. Tomorrow, today now, past midnight. What would my parents do? Call to yell at me? Show up at my door? Something more extreme? Cut me off financially? I hadn't taken their money in years, but if they really wanted to make things difficult, they'd find a way. My phone on the nightstand. On silent. The notification light blinking green.
On. Off. On. Off.
Like a heartbeat signal. A lot of things waiting to be dealt with. But right now, this moment, a person in my arms, breathing steady, body warm, trusting me in the dark. That feeling wasn't something you could eat, but it reminded you were alive. Not the mechanical kind of alive. Not going through motions. Really alive. With blood and warmth. I don't know when I finally fell asleep.
Light. Bright.
Sun through the curtains. Bolder than yesterday. A thick band of gold across the floor. The smell of congee. She was already up.
Cooking.
I grabbed my phone. 8:47 a.m. More messages. My mother's. 7:23 a.m. Ryan. Your father wants you home today. 7:45 a.m. You'd better come back. Don't make us come to your office. The tone had shifted. Last night was despair. This morning was command. They'd slept on it. Decided to change tactics. 8:10 a.m. Are you still at that apartment? Your father wants to talk. Stop hiding. You can't hide forever. Chloe. One message. 8:30 a.m. Your family might not be peaceful today. Brace yourself. I replied, thanks. I know. She responded instantly. No need to thank me. I just think you've got guts. I put the phone down. Went to the kitchen. Lena at the stove. My old t-shirt. Spooning congee into bowls. She heard me. Turned her head. Smiled. You're up. Congee's ready. I fried 2 eggs. One's a little burnt. One's runny. Which do you want? Runny. She pointed at a plate. Oil smears around the edges. She'd wiped it with a paper towel, but left faint marks. I took the bowl. Ate standing at the counter. The egg was perfect. Crispy edges. Yolk broke with the spoon. Mixed into the congee. Rich and warm. She sat across from me. Her own bowl. Barely touched. Watching me. You're going home today? Probably. You want me to come?
No.
Why not? This is my family's mess. You shouldn't have to deal with it. She set down her spoon. Her expression sharpened. Ryan, last night you said we need to do this differently.
Say what needs to be said.
So I'm saying it now. I want to go with you. Not because I owe you. Because I'm your girlfriend. Girlfriend. She said it like she was testing the word, seeing if it still fit. I looked at her. She looked back. You sure? Yes. It might get ugly. I don't care. I thought about it. Let me go alone first. See what the situation is. If I can't handle it, you can come. She opened her mouth, closed it, nodded. After breakfast, I showered.
Shaved.
Put on the navy suit. Not to please anyone. I just didn't want to show up looking like I was deliberately being defiant. Face what needs to be faced. Dress decent. It's a form of respect. She straightened my collar. Stepped back. Looked me over. Looks good. Thanks. Whatever happens, text me. Don't carry it alone.
Yeah.
Out the door. Downstairs. Sun bright. Wind sharp. Like knives on my face. A taxi at the gate. The one I'd called. I opened the back door. My phone buzzed. Lena, good luck. I typed back. Okay. The taxi pulled out. Merged into traffic. The sycamores lining the road were bare. Bare branches swaying in the wind. Like a giant maze. No end in sight. West Side. Wealthy district. 40 minutes. The taxi stopped at the community gate. Security guard. New one again. I signed in. Building B3. Elevator up. Doorbell. My mother opened the door. Dark red loungewear. She looked tired. Dark circles. Probably hadn't slept well either. When she saw me, there was a flash of relief in her eyes. Then it got swallowed by a tangle of other things. Anger. Hurt. Worry. All compressed into one sentence. You actually came. You told me to. She stepped aside. 2 pairs of men's shoes in the entryway. My father's Oxfords. And a pair of dark brown loafers I didn't recognize. In the living room, my father on the couch. A middle-aged man across from him. Tea and an ashtray on the coffee table between them. Several cigarette butts in the ashtray. The man was around 50. Hair graying. Gold-rimmed glasses. Lean face. Dark gray cashmere sweater. He was holding a teacup. When he saw me, he set it down and stood. You must be Ryan. I'm Gerald Archer. Chloe's father. I froze. Of all the things I expected today, an Archer in my living room wasn't one of them. Mr. Archer. He nodded, looked me up and down. His gaze wasn't harsh, but it wasn't warm either. It was evaluative. He was assessing whether the young man in front of him was worth his daughter waiting an hour for. My father didn't stand, pointed at the armchair across from him. Voice heavy. Sit. I sat. My mother brought me a cup of tea, then sat next to my father. Hands clasped in her lap. Stiff. The atmosphere in the room was complicated. For people. 2 generations. Nobody knew how to start. Gerald Archer went first.
His voice was calm. Low.
The ease of someone who'd been in charge for decades.
Ryan.
You didn't come last night. My daughter, on the other hand, was relieved. She told me, Dad, this Ryan is more interesting than I thought. I asked her what was interesting about a man who stood her up. She said, someone who can say no to the Chin family is either stupid or has real backbone. I'm betting on the second one. He picked up his teacup. Sipped. Set it down. I don't know what's between you and my daughter, but I didn't come here to demand explanations. I came to see for myself. What kind of person turns down my daughter? He looked at me. I've seen. Not bad. At least you didn't hide. My father finally spoke. His voice was tight, controlled fury. Ryan, last night. Do you have anything to say for yourself? I looked at him. His expression was layered. Anger on top. Underneath, something deeper. Disappointment. Exhaustion. He'd spent decades getting his way in business. Everyone fell in line. And now his own son had embarrassed him in front of the Archers. That probably stung worse than losing money. There's nothing to explain. I told you beforehand, I didn't want to go. You pushed anyway. I didn't show. That was always my intention. Your intention? My father's voice rose. Your intention was to humiliate the Chin family in front of the Archers? Do you know Gerald waited over an hour for you? Do you know how much groundwork your brother-in-law did to make this dinner happen? Gerald Archer raised a hand.
Calm.
Richard, don't blame the boy. Young people's affairs. Let them decide for themselves. I came today to tell you in person. The two kids don't have that kind of connection. So we'll set the matter aside. The business cooperation? That continues as planned. Separate things.
His tone was easy.
But his eyes rested on me for a moment. Just long enough to tell me this man was sharper than he let on. My father's expression eased slightly, but he still looked like he'd swallowed acid.
Ryan, be honest with me.
Was it because of that woman? That Lynn girl? The room went quiet. My mother glanced at my father, then at me, lips parted.
Didn't speak.
Gerald Archer sipped his tea, like he hadn't heard a thing. Yes. Are you insane? My father's voice squeezed out through his teeth. What background does she have? Her father's a retired factory worker. Her mother doesn't work. What can she offer you? What can she offer the Chin family? I'm not asking her to offer the Chin family anything. Then what are you with her for? Because I love her. The words came out before I thought about them. And when they landed in the room, I felt the weight of them. Not because they weren't true, because they were too simple. Too simple to be accepted as a valid reason by adults. In this world, everything needed a complex, rational, quantifiable justification. But loving someone was its own justification. You didn't need more than that. My father stared at me for a long time. Then he laughed. Not a happy laugh. The kind you make when you're too angry to do anything else.
Ryan.
You're 26, not 16. You're with a woman who didn't even go to college. What's your future? Can you build a life with her? Are you sure? Yes. You're sure about nothing. My father's voice boomed. The teacups trembled on the table. Name one thing in your life you've been sure about. That useless major you chose in college? You said you loved it. Are you making a living from it now? That joke of a company you work for? You said you had a future there. How much do you make a month? You dated that girl for 2 years. She dumped you. You didn't say a word. Didn't fight. And now you're going back to her. Do you just like being treated like a doormat? The words hit hard. My mother tugged at my father's sleeve. Murmured. Richard. That's enough. Gerald Archer stood. Richard. I'll head out. Your family matters. Take your time. He looked at me. Ryan. Take care of yourself. He picked up his coat and left. My mother went to see him out. The living room.
Just me and my father.
He leaned back into the couch, closed his eyes, rubbed his temples.
Didn't speak for a long time.
The posture of someone drained. A man emptied out. Not the titan of industry who controlled a business empire. Just a tired father. And I realized something. My father was old. Not physically old. Though his hair had gone gray. Old in his spirit. The kind of old that says I don't have the energy to fight you anymore. He used to lecture me for half an hour without repeating himself. Now, a few sentences, and he was exhausted. That realization hit me harder than I expected. Not sympathy. Something more complicated. The knowledge that I'd disappointed him. Not just by skipping the dinner. By every choice I'd made since I graduated at 22. For years of decisions. All of them letting him down.
We sat there.
Neither of us speaking. Sunlight streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows.
Bright.
The living room was huge. So huge that two people sitting in it felt separated by more than physical space. Like a river between us. one shore to the other, water rushing.
No crossing.
My mother came back, stood in the middle of the room, looked at my father, then at me. Her eyes reddened.
Ryan.
Your father didn't sleep at all last night. I know. You know, and you still won't listen to him?
Mom.
Listening to him and being myself are two different things. My mother's tears spilled over. She wiped them quickly, like she didn't want anyone to see. Being yourself? What's self? You're an ordinary young man. No house, no car, no savings. What exactly qualifies you to be yourself? The words cut.
Clean. Precise.
Because they weren't wrong. 26. No house, no car, no savings. Monthly salary barely covering expenses. In anyone's eyes, a failure. Or, at least nothing special. My only asset was my last name, and I was rejecting even that. To an outsider, it looked stupid. My mother saw my expression shift. She must have thought she'd gone too far. Her voice softened. Ryan, I didn't mean it like that. I just want you to have a good life. If you stay with that Lena girl, can you have that? How much does she make? Your salaries combined. Is it enough? Marriage.
House. Kids.
Every single thing costs money. With Chloe, none of that is a problem. Her family has money. Our family has money. Together, you'd never have to worry. Why do you insist on taking the hard road? Because she doesn't love me. And I don't love her. I didn't say it. Not out of fear. Because it wouldn't matter. In my parents' generation, love wasn't a prerequisite for marriage. Marry first, love later. That was the script. Countless couples had done it. Lived whole lives that way. But I wasn't from their generation. I couldn't live like that. I stood up.
Mom.
I'm going. Where? Home. Will you come back for dinner? I don't know. My father hadn't opened his eyes. Hadn't spoken. As I reached the door and changed my shoes, his voice came.
Low.
Tired. Ryan, think carefully. Your decision. Are you sure you won't change it? I'm sure. He said nothing else. The door closed behind me, and I heard my mother crying, muffled, like she was trying to keep it in. But the door couldn't block it. The sound leaked through, thin as a needle, pressing into your skin. Not pain, but you knew it was there. In the elevator, leaning against the wall, watching the floor numbers drop. My phone buzzed. Lena, how did it go? I typed. Still alive. She sent a hug emoji. Then, I'm at home waiting. Home. She typed it so naturally. I stared at that word. The corner of my mouth moved. I don't know if it counted as a smile. Out the gate. Sun bright. Wind strong. The security guard recognized me this time. Nodded. Take care, Mr. Chin. At the curb, waiting for a taxi. I lit a cigarette. Drew deep. Exhaled slow. The smoke scattered in the wind.
Fast. Gone.
My phone buzzed again. A long message.
Chloe.
Ryan. My dad just saw you. He said you don't look like your father. You look like your mother. And your personality isn't like your father's either. He said you seem soft, but your bones are hard. My dad rarely compliments anyone. So that surprised me. I know you don't like me. And I don't like you either. Not like that. But I think we could be friends. If you're okay with that. Because we're the same. Both pushed by our families. The difference is you were brave enough to stop. I'm still being pushed. Maybe one day, I'll be able to stop too.
Thank you, Ryan.
I stood in the winter sun. Read the message. Crushed my cigarette.
Tossed it. Taxi came.
I got in. Back seat. Where to? Home. The driver pulled out. Merged into traffic. I leaned against the window. Watched the city slide past. Towers. Overpasses. Pedestrians. Traffic lights. Everything running on schedule. A giant machine. Everyone a screw. But some screws could at least choose which direction to turn. That was enough. My phone buzzed one more time. Lena. A photo. Windowsill. Sunlight. 2 cups of coffee. Side by side. Caption. Made you coffee. Waiting for you to come drink it. I looked at that photo.
Felt something catch in my chest.
Not sadness. The feeling of someone waiting for you.
Someone thinking of you.
Someone treating you like home. Like a cup of hot coffee. Going down from throat to stomach. Warm all the way. Warm enough to make you want to cry. I leaned forward. Tapped the driver's seat. Can you go a little faster? The driver glanced at me in the rearview mirror. Smiled. In a hurry to get home?
Yeah.
In a hurry to get home. Outside the window. City pulling back. Sunlight flowing across the glass. Wind blowing hard. Bare sycamore branches swaying. But in my head, one image. 2 cups of coffee on a windowsill. Sunlight on the rims. Steam rising. She was waiting. We were really starting over. This time. A different way. No more secrets. No more silence. For as long as we could go. At least we wouldn't regret.